Venture into the raw and unfiltered moments captured in the heart of urban life. From chilling encounters to unexpected twists, join us as we delve into the 35 most disturbing hood moments caught on camera. Brace yourself for a journey through the unseen realities of the streets. In the calm setting of a Houston massage parlor, the usual quiet of a Friday evening was abruptly shattered by an unexpected intrusion. Three individuals entered, their presence immediately disrupting the peaceful ambiance. Tension filled the air as one of the men revealed a concealed handgun. In a terrifying moment, an employee found herself at the center of the chaos, with a gun pressed against her head. Just as quickly as they had arrived, the trio disappeared into the evening, leaving behind a trail of fear and disbelief. In the quiet hours of a February morning, the peaceful Silver Spring area was about to witness an audacious attempt that would leave the community in shock. As the clock struck 4:06 a.m., the tranquility of the 7-Eleven on New Hampshire Avenue was abruptly shattered. A pickup truck, driven with reckless determination, plowed through the store's front window. Three figures, their faces shrouded in mystery, swiftly entered the store. Their target, the ATM that stood as a silent sentinel inside. They managed to drag it to the parking lot, the weight of their potential prize matched only by the weight of their impending failure. Suddenly, the plan unraveled. Perhaps it was the approaching wail of sirens or an unexpected complication, but the suspects fled, leaving behind the ATM. As dawn broke over Silver Spring, detectives uncovered a new twist in their investigation. The abandoned pickup truck, found in Hyattsville, told a tale of its own, one of theft compounding theft. During the early hours of a spring morning, as Houston stirred to life, an unsuspecting convenience store was about to become the stage for a chilling encounter. At 6:50 a.m., as the sun barely peeked over the horizon, three shadowy figures approached the store on Mosley Road. Their hidden intentions were about to shatter the peaceful dawn. A store employee caught in this unexpected storm found himself face down on the cold floor. As quickly as they had appeared, the trio vanished. A black Ford Explorer roared to life, carrying the perpetrators and their ill-gotten gains into the awakening city. Two robbers entered a convenience store, initially blending in as they casually looked around. Surveillance video captures the two suspects calmly perusing the aisles, their behavior betraying no hint of the impending crime. After a few minutes, they suddenly sprang into action, pulling out weapons and demanding money from the terrified cashier. The robbers moved swiftly, grabbing cash and goods before fleeing the scene. In the tense atmosphere of a city on edge, law enforcement's pursuit of a known gang member was about to reach its climactic moment.
Actually caught, tackled to the ground, and handcuffed by the officer.
An alert officer's keen eye spotted a black male resembling the wanted Torrin Clark. This led the officer to initiate a traffic stop. Torrin, driven by fear of capture, pushed himself to the limit. Suddenly, the officer closed the gap and tackled him to the pavement.
Go to the picture, let me see. Press it off and on.
What seemed like a routine stop quickly escalated into a heart-pounding chase. In the chaos, the officer's body camera clattered to the ground, leaving only imagination to fill in the gaps of what followed.
Calm down. Calm down, okay? Hey!
As backup arrived, Torrin's charges came to light: illegal possession, obstruction, false identification, and driving with a suspended license.
Watch who you talking to before that job right here. On the God, tell your homie I don't play. On the God. Who you trying to? You know what I'm talking about? Tell your homie out there that better watch who you talking to. On the God.
Sensing danger, a man cleverly detected a robbery setup aimed at him and decided to take matters into his own hands.
Did it already. They have to go die already in this store. They have to go die right here. That's what's gonna happen. You want to die? I'm happy.
Meanwhile, an undercover accomplice, disguised as a NASA employee, monitored his every move. To keep his cash concealed, the man opted to use his card.
Oh, shit.
Tension mounted as the man casually mentioned the possibility of a robbery. The imposter's response was off, raising immediate suspicion. The man's instincts kicked in, and he acted swiftly, shooting the NASA accomplice. Chaos erupted outside as the NASA guy's collaborators retaliated, firing at the man. As Hurricane Harvey unleashed its fury upon Houston, a daring heist was about to unfold in the chaos of the flooded city. On that fateful Sunday night, as the city grappled with rising waters, two figures emerged from the darkness, their sights set on Mike Calvert Toyota. At 10:35 p.m., a phone rang, piercing through the storm's howl. The dealership's manager, safe in his home, received an alarming call from security. Little did the intruders know their every move was about to be scrutinized. For nearly 2 hours, the suspects worked furiously to break into the safe. The sound of a power saw and the screech of a crowbar filled the empty showroom as they struggled against time. Eventually, the safe opened and they quickly gathered the contents, the amount remaining unknown. Their success was short-lived. With police sirens approaching and cutting through the storm's noise, the thieves escaped into the flooded streets of Houston. On January 7th, just after 1 a.m., 8 armed suspects targeted the Bombay Express restaurant in southwest Houston, located on the 10700 block of West Belfort. Breaking through the front entrance, the suspects confronted employees closing up for the night. They stole money, jewelry, and cell phones from the employees, and then focused on the gaming machines, breaking into them with a hammer to take the cash inside. During the robbery, the suspects fired their weapons twice and assaulted one employee, causing injury. The group fled, potentially in a white Ford Explorer. In the quiet streets of Hudson, Florida, an ordinary afternoon was about to erupt into a high-stakes pursuit that would leave the community on edge.
Snap down.
As the clock struck 12:40 p.m., law enforcement converged on a house on Becky Lane. Their target, 33-year-old Eric Leslie Bata, a man whose past was about to catch up with him. In a heart-stopping moment, Bata burst from his home, diving into a 2005 Ford quad cab pickup. The chase was on, with deputies in hot pursuit.
Your hands! Show me your hands! Both of them! Both of them! The both hands are up! Both hands are up! Both hands are up! Will that door open over there? Both hands are up! Both hands are up!
The peaceful streets of Port Richey transformed into a high-speed battleground. Bata's truck tore down Denton Road, veering onto US 19, with law enforcement close behind. As Bata approached the intersection of Fox Hollow Drive, fate intervened. In a cacophony of screeching metal and shattering glass, his truck collided with an unsuspecting vehicle.
He's saying no. Shaking his head no. Open the door over there. Got him?
The chase came to an abrupt, violent end as Bata's truck careened into a light pole. The dust settled, revealing the aftermath of a desperate man's bid for freedom. On the night of May 7, 2014, chaos erupted at a shooting crime scene in Houston when a man ran over several people in a fit of rage. In a shocking turn of events, the video footage reveals the man's fury as he plows through the crowd. His anger was apparently sparked by someone throwing a bike at his car. The scene quickly descended into further disorder as people scrambled to avoid the oncoming vehicle. The man's reckless actions added to the already tense and chaotic atmosphere. As authorities moved in to control the situation, the man's motives became clear. His rage, captured on video, turned a crime scene into a site of additional mayhem. In the shadow of NRG Stadium, an ordinary night at a local convenience store was about to take a terrifying turn. As the clock ticked past midnight on May 17th, 4 individuals entered the store at Main and Kirby. Initially unnoticed, their presence soon shattered the quiet night. The clerk, caught in this unexpected situation, found himself staring down the barrels of guns. Two of the assailants moved swiftly, emptying the register and pocketing the cash. Meanwhile, another suspect grabbed boxes of cigarettes, adding to the theft. As quickly as they had appeared, the 4 vanished into the night. As dawn approached on September 22, 2022, the quiet streets of Benton were about to witness a shocking attempt. In the early hours, 2 figures emerged from the darkness, targeting the ATM at the Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. With quick movements, the thieves attached their pickup truck to the ATM. The air filled with tension as they began their heist. The truck's engine roared, struggling to pull the stubborn ATM. Repeated attempts failed as the machine refused to budge. Despite their efforts, the ATM held firm. The thieves fled, abandoning their truck, which now served as evidence. As evening descended over Houston's Greenspoint Mall, the ordinary night at Paul's Jewelry was about to be shattered. At 7:03 p.m., 3 masked and gloved individuals emerged from the crowd, approaching the glittering displays with sinister intent. A brave security guard attempted to tackle one of the assailants, but ended up crashing into a display case. The trio quickly fled in a black Hyundai, leaving behind a scene of destruction. On a seemingly ordinary Saturday afternoon in Houston, the quiet hum of a convenience store was about to be shattered by an unexpected act of violence. At 3:35 p.m., as patrons went about their business, 2 figures entered the store on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Their presence, at first unremarkable, held a sinister purpose. Unaware of the impending danger, a woman sat engrossed in the flashing lights and spinning reels of a slot machine at the back of the store. Her moment of leisure was about to turn into a nightmare. The woman froze, her eyes wide with terror as the barrel pointed directly at her. As one assailant held her at gunpoint, his accomplice's hands moved swiftly, violating her personal space. Cash, a wallet, a cell phone. In seconds, her possessions were stripped away, leaving her with nothing but fear. As quickly as they had appeared, the duo vanished into the Houston afternoon. An ordinary Monday afternoon in Houston turned into a chilling encounter at a cell phone store on the Gulf Freeway. 3 men entered the store at 2 p.m., initially seeming to scan through the displays as regular customers. The usual buzz of the store continued as the men, posing as curious shoppers, engaged with the unsuspecting employee. The men stormed into the back office, grabbing phones from boxes and ripping packaging. As swiftly as they had struck, the trio vanished. A red Ford Fusion roared to life, carrying the perpetrators and their loot into the bustling Houston traffic. A quiet evening at a convenience store on Mills Road was shattered by a violent robbery at 10:50 p.m. The peaceful ambiance gave way to chaos as 3 robbers stormed the store, their faces masked and intentions clear. The suspects, without hesitation, aimed their guns at a customer, instilling immediate fear. The store clerk, attempting to protect the establishment, was swiftly assaulted, adding to the brutality of the scene. With practiced efficiency, the robbers emptied the cash registers and snatched valuables from the shelves. In the early hours of Thursday, March 24, 2022, a convenience store on Tidwell was struck by a violent robbery. Around 2:45 a.m., 3 men entered the store. One man, armed with a handgun, stood guard at the door while the other 2 approached the gaming machines. One of the men used a metal bar to pry open the gaming machines, while the other threatened the employee behind the counter, demanding money from the register. The robbers took the cash from both the machines and the register before fleeing the scene. Surveillance footage reveals robbers, clad in hooded garments, carrying out their brazen heists. The video captures their calculated movements and stealthy tactics as they access the ATMs. Once they seized the ATM, they carried it jointly due to its weight. The robbers vanish into the night, their identities hidden and their crimes adding to a growing list of unsolved mysteries in the city. On a quiet evening, a car full of gang members cruised through the streets, their intentions hidden behind the steady hum of the engine. Suddenly, one of them spotted a familiar figure walking along the sidewalk.
Ain't nobody safe, man.
The car screeched to a halt. Doors flew open, and the gang members emerged, their expressions dark and intent. They moved with a unified purpose, surrounding the lone individual. Tension crackled in the air as they confronted him. The situation escalated quickly, their aggression clear as they closed in on their target. After the confrontation, they left their target. On a sunny Sunday in Lauderdale Lakes, a routine trip to the liquor store was about to descend into chaos. Four men arrived, their sinister intentions masked by an air of normalcy. The scene quickly turned tense as they prepared to strike. In an instant, the afternoon peace shattered as the four armed men targeted an unsuspecting victim. The victim, frozen in shock, became the center of this clumsy yet terrifying assault. Onlookers watched in disbelief as the crime unfolded in broad daylight. As quickly as it began, the robbery ended. In the dead of night, a daring heist was about to unfold on the Northwest Freeway. At 3:14 a.m., the quiet of a convenience store was shattered. 6 shadowy figures emerged from the darkness, their intentions clear as they breached the store's defenses. With practiced efficiency, the thieves secured a chain to the store's ATM, preparing to rip it from its moorings. In a cacophony of screeching metal and crumbling masonry, the ATM surrendered to brute force. The thieves, working with surprising coordination, hoisted their prize into the bed of the truck. As quickly as they had struck, the gang dispersed. In the dim light of a Houston night, the convivial atmosphere outside a local bar was about to be shattered by an unexpected encounter. As 3 friends chatted in the parking lot, 2 shadowy figures emerged from the darkness. The air grew thick with tension as their true intentions became clear. In a heart-stopping moment, the night exploded into chaos. 2 armed men, their faces hidden and guns gleaming in the low light, descended upon the unsuspecting group. The friends, caught completely off guard, found themselves forced to the ground. The cool pavement pressed against their cheeks as fear gripped their hearts. As swiftly as they had appeared, the assailants melted back into the night. 2 thieves entered the clothing store with a clear plan. One thief headed directly to the jacket section, his eyes scanning the racks with practiced ease, while the other positioned himself by the entrance to ensure the door remained unlocked. Without hesitation, the thief began pulling jackets off the hangers. And with 2 stolen jackets, he signaled to his accomplice, and they both headed straight for the exit. No attempt was made to pay for the items. Orange County deputies released surveillance footage of a brazen smash-and-grab robbery at a cell phone shop on South Orange Blossom Trail. The video shows the store completely empty, a tranquil setting just before the intrusion. In a sudden burst of violence, the robbers smashed their way through the glass door, shattering the quiet. With no one around to stop them, they moved quickly and with purpose. The thieves headed straight for the display cases, ripping out phones and other valuable electronics. In a matter of minutes, they had gathered their haul and fled the scene, leaving behind a wrecked store. As the clock struck 10 p.m. on a quiet Monday night, a Houston sandwich shop on South Gessner was about to become the scene of a chilling encounter. The peaceful atmosphere of the shop was abruptly shattered as a lone figure stepped through the door. At first, his presence seemed unremarkable, but it quickly became clear that he had a sinister purpose. In a heart-stopping moment, the air grew thick with tension. The man approached the counter, his hand nestled in his pocket. As he drew closer, the outline of a handgun became visible, casting a shadow of fear over the scene. Words dripping with menace cut through the silence as he demanded the contents of the register. The employee, frozen in shock, could only comply as the situation spiraled out of control. In mere seconds, the hard-earned money of the day's business disappeared into the thief's grasp. In the quiet town of Rio Linda, a 7-Eleven convenience store became the unexpected target of a brazen act that would shake the community to its core. Earlier this month, as night fell, a group of individuals descended upon the store. Their actions, captured in detail by surveillance cameras, painted a picture of chaos and lawlessness. The once orderly shelves were stripped bare as looters, moving with alarming efficiency, grabbed whatever they could carry. As quickly as they had arrived, the group vanished into the night, leaving behind a scene of devastation and a community in shock. On an ordinary day in Houston, the Fiesta Meat Market was about to become the stage for a terrifying ordeal. In a heart-stopping moment, 2 men burst into the store, their intentions immediately clear as they brandished handguns. The air filled with panicked cries as customers and employees alike were ordered to the ground. With practiced efficiency, one assailant vaulted over the counter. Trembling hands of an employee were forced to open the registers, the sound of rustling bills filling the tense silence. Meanwhile, his accomplice stood sentinel at the door, his weapon a silent threat, ensuring no one dared to flee. As swiftly as they had struck, the robbers made their escape. But in a moment of unexpected comedy amidst the terror, money spilled from one thief's shirt pocket as he fled. As the sun rose over Houston on a quiet Sunday morning, 2 figures approached a building on Kelly St., their intentions hidden behind a facade of normalcy. At 9:23 a.m., while most of the city was just beginning to stir, these individuals were about to shatter the peace of a local business. In a heart-stopping moment, the quiet morning erupted into action. The two suspects breached the building's defenses, their movements purposeful and practiced. Inside, they moved with eerie efficiency, their target clear. Gun safes were pried open, shelves of ammunition emptied. Each stolen firearm and box of bullets represented not just monetary value, but potential danger in the wrong hands. In the stillness of an evening in Mount Juliet, the Sprint store was about to be plunged into a nightmare. The store employee had just finished organizing displays, unaware of the impending danger. 3 figures entered the store, their presence foreboding. Brandishing guns, the assailants issued a command. With no choice, the employee obeyed, hands shaking. The robbers emptied the safe of its money, adding to their haul of stolen items. On Tuesday, May 10, 2016, at approximately 11:23 p.m., a Houston business on Westeimer RD was thrust into chaos. Three men, armed and masked, burst into the store. The atmosphere turned tense as one suspect aimed a gun at the clerk, demanding money from the register. Another robber turned to a customer and a store employee, forcibly taking their personal belongings. The trio swiftly gathered their loot and fled the scene, disappearing with the victim's possessions and an undisclosed sum of money. In the heart of Houston, a convenience store was about to become the stage for a cunningly orchestrated robbery. Two men entered the store, their presence initially unremarkable. One approached the counter, his interest in a display case knife seeming genuine. The clerk, lured by the prospect of a sale, stepped out from the safety of the enclosed register area. At that moment, the trap sprung. In a heartbeat, the unsuspecting clerk found himself on the ground, fear gripping his heart as demands for money filled the air. With practiced efficiency, the thieves emptied the register. Bills disappeared into their grasp, the day's earnings vanishing in mere seconds. As the morning sun climbed over Houston, a convenience store on Almea was about to become the stage for a terrifying ordeal.
Open the register. Open the register. Open the register. I'm not telling, I'm smacking you too. Open the...
At 10:30 a.m., two figures entered the store. Their presence, at first unremarkable, masked a sinister intent that was about to unfold. The two men approached the enclosed counter, handguns glinting menacingly under the fluorescent lights. Their demands for money cut through the air, leaving the employees frozen in fear. But the thieves weren't done. With practiced efficiency, they turned their attention to the cigarette display. Pack after pack vanished into their possession, adding to their ill-gotten haul. As night fell over Houston, the Airline Market was closing for the day, unaware that their routine would soon turn into a terrifying ordeal. With the last customers gone, two masked figures entered the store, their seemingly casual presence masking a dangerous intent. Chaos erupted as the intruders, armed with handguns, rushed to the back office. They confronted two employees, pressing guns against them and demanding their compliance. The robbers quickly emptied the cash registers. In moments, they were gone, vanishing into the night and leaving behind a scene of fear and disruption. Under the dim glow of streetlights, 3 figures approached a quiet store, their movements purposeful and stealthy. The clock had just struck closing time, and the store was almost empty, unaware of the impending danger. As the robbers entered, they swiftly brandished their weapons, sending a jolt of fear through the employees and customers. Their heist was carried out with cold efficiency. Once they had collected their loot, they made their way back to the entrance, leaving behind a scene of panic and chaos. Waiting just outside, a getaway vehicle sat ready for their escape. The trio slipped into the car and sped away, vanishing into the night. Raw surveillance footage reveals a brazen act of theft at a Riverton retail store. In the video, 2 males carefully execute their plan at TJ Maxx. One suspect engages the woman, creating a distraction, while the other slips his hand into her purse with practiced ease. With the woman's attention diverted, the second suspect seizes the opportunity and lifts her wallet from the purse. The entire act unfolds in a matter of seconds, showcasing their calculated and covert approach.